Because of the fact that the boundary, the line separating conventional television in either the network or the cable sense of the word, and multimedia internet content is becoming increasingly blurred and probably on the way to just simply disappearing entirely, as television sets become increasingly computer chip enabled, and the ability to create, post, and find content on internet venues, whether Vimeo or YouTube, etc., proliferate and become more common. Because that line is probably moving toward disappearance, there's another point that's probably worth emphasizing here. In the significant book by Clay Shirky several years ago, Here Comes Everybody, The Power of Organizing Without Organizations, he challenges the idea that interactive television is viable, essentially dismissing the idea that the interactive television is not viable beyond something as trivial as voting for your favorite contestant on American Idol or something. But the context, the basis on which he comes to that judgment, I think is flawed. And essentially he is basing that or justifying that conclusion on the idea that the celebrity most associated with a given program, he uses the example of Oprah Winfrey, he uses the example of various very well-known bloggers who may accumulate an audience of hundreds of thousands, even perhaps millions, being completely unable to individually interact with the growing audience, and on that basis jumps to the conclusion, or comes to the conclusion, that therefore interactive television is simply not viable. I think that for those who have familiarized themselves with the text profile of the Aquarian Covenant and essentially how this is intended to be structured will realize that the claim here that this could become a very, very significant form of interactive television, not in the conventional network or cable sense, but more in the sense of that disappearing boundary with internet multimedia content, is based on the fact that it isn't that the interactivity is not between a celebrity associated with the venue, with the medium, and that growing audience. It's, in a sense, the interactivity really is between the audience and itself. And I can say that, or we can say that, because the audience are also the producers, or to the extent that they wish to be. And so in that sense, to use the term coined by Alvin Toffler in his terrific book, The Third Wave, they become prosumers. And in that context, the possibility of very substantive interactive television as very distinct from the type of celebrity the constraints of interactivity between a celebrity such as Clay Shirky points out and a growing audience of millions of people is really not relevant. And this is a very, very distinct thing from that. And so that, I believe, is also an important point to clarify in terms of why we do feel that the growth potential of the Aquarian Covenant is as significant as we feel it is.